There are footballers who make a stadium scream, and there's only one who makes people who already have absolutely everything tremble. Actors who walk red carpets without blinking, NFL champions, singers who sell out stadiums, millionaire comedians, they all lose their composure in front of the same person, Lionel Messi. In the next few minutes, you're going to see an actor who swears he never gets nervous be left literally speechless. A comedian who admitted he froze. A kid who broke down in tears before the ball even rolled. A music legend who found out that Messi carries his name because of him. And at the end, the most unexpected moment of all. The day Messi himself was the one who got nervous. Get ready. Kevin Hart fills stadiums making people laugh. He's worked with Dwayne Johnson, with Will Ferrell, with half of Hollywood. Nothing intimidates him. Until Messi showed up. It was at Fanatics Fest, an event where Tom Brady, Novak Djokovic, Travis Scott, Rio Ferdinand, and Dibu Martinez were all in the same room. Hart said it was his first encounter with Messi and that he was completely blown away. Since they don't share a language, he said hello in English and Messi answered in Spanish, so neither one understood the other, but he described it as a great introduction. The photo was taken by Kevin Durant. Think about it. A guy who makes a living talking non-stop, reduced to saying hello. And not even in the right language. Tom Holland can't believe what he's seeing Paris, the Ballon d'Or Gala. Tom Holland was promoting Spider-Man, No Way Home alongside Zendaya, and was invited to the ceremony where Messi would receive his 7th trophy. Football royalty everywhere you looked. Holland later recalled that he doesn't usually get nervous around people who do the same thing he does, but that with athletes it's different. He's amazed by performing at that level week after week, under that kind of pressure. And he explained the difference. A movie eventually comes out and the pressure eases. A footballer has to deliver every 7 days. Spider-Man, the man who leaps between skyscrapers, speechless in front of a 5'7" kid from Rosario. That's how hard the aura hits, the most moving fan reaction. This one isn't famous. His name is Edwin, he's Nicaraguan, and he lived what millions dream about. It was in the build-up to Inter Miami against Cruz Azul on match day 1 of the League's Cup, July 21st, 2023. Edwin managed to get Messi to sign a pair of boots and took off running to hug his son Yami, who couldn't hold back the tears. The video went around the world in hours, and the most beautiful part isn't the autograph, it's the father's sprint. That man wasn't running for a signature. He was running to hand his son a story he'll tell for the rest of his life. Sometimes football isn't about football. An influencer completely loses control. IShowSpeed is, probably, the loudest content creator on the planet. He screams, he jumps, he throws himself on the floor. He's met Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, half the global sporting elite. But when he crossed paths with Messi at the FIFA Club World Cup, something strange happened. He simply couldn't believe what he was seeing. The clip blew up on social media for exactly that reason. The kid who turned chaos into a profession was left processing, with a face that said, "This isn't happening to me." When the guy who screams about everything goes quiet, you understand the real size of the person standing in front of him. A boy fulfills the dream of his life. This is the chapter that's going to squeeze your chest. A young fan with growth hormone deficiency, exactly the same condition Messi had as a boy, got to meet him and broke down in tears the moment they met. Stop for a second on that. Messi was that kid. The one who was shorter than everyone, the one with the daily treatments, the one many believed would never make it. Decades later, that same kid is standing in front of another one, going through the very same thing, being living proof that it can be done. There was no goal, there was no packed stadium, and even so, it was one of the biggest moments of his career. When Lionel met Lionel. This story sounds made up, but it's real. Celia, Messi's mother, was a fan of Lionel Richie, frontman of the Commodores in the 70s and 80s. That's where her son's name came from. Richie, who at first thought the story was a joke, finally met Messi at Chase Stadium after Inter. Miami's win over LAFC in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The singer posted the moment on his socials with a message full of laughs. When Lionel meets Lionel, his mom named him after him, and there they were, meeting after all those years. Two legends, one name, and an Argentine mother who, without knowing it, wrote the script. An NFL star talks about Messi. J.J. Watt is a beast. Three-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, nearly 2 meters tall, 130 kilos of muscle. A man trained not to be impressed by anything. Telling the story of his encounter with Messi on the show Men in Blazers, Watt summed it up like this. It blew his mind. Watt isn't a football tourist. He became an investor in Burnley, and when it was suggested he sign Messi, he joked that he'd already called him and was still waiting for an answer. A giant from a brutally physical sport, talking in a kid's voice about an Argentine who weighs half what he does. That's real influence. The most unexpected reaction, Julia Roberts. Oscar winner, the most famous smile in cinema, one of the most recognizable women on the planet. The last person you'd expect to see acting like a supporter. She was in Madrid for a Clásico and got a special tour with the Real Madrid players. She told Sergio Ramos he'd played great, photographed Gareth Bale's locker like any other fan, and smiled the whole way through. And afterwards she met the man of the match, Lionel Messi, a star who's been walking red carpets for 30 years, taking photos of a locker room with her phone. Definitely, nobody is immune. A legend acknowledges his greatness. Stephen Curry changed basketball forever. Four-time NBA champion, the greatest shooter in history, a man who makes the impossible look routine every night. And even so, watching Messi on the pitch, Curry couldn't believe what he was doing. His reaction went viral precisely because it came from someone who understands, better than anyone, how hard it is to be the number one in your sport. That's the detail that matters. When a fan gets emotional, it's normal. When someone who also revolutionized his own discipline is left open-mouthed, it's because he's seeing something even he can't explain. The most striking moment I saved the best for last, because in this video you've seen half the world lose their minds in front of Messi. But what happens when Messi is the fan? Champions League, 2021. Messi had just scored his first goal with PSG in the 2-0 win over Manchester City. And in the tunnel area, he was the one who asked for the photo with Ed Sheeran. The singer later publicly thanked him for the way he treated him and his family. And it didn't stop there. 2 years later, Messi took Antonella and their 3 kids to a Sheeran concert in Florida, and the photo he posted passed 13.5 million likes. The man everyone asks for a photo standing in line with his family. Pure humility. After seeing all these reactions, one thing is crystal clear. Lionel Messi stopped being just a footballer a long time ago. He's a phenomenon that cuts across worlds that have nothing to do with each other. Think about it. A comedian who makes a living talking nonstop was reduced to a simple hello. An actor who walks red carpets every week admitted he got nervous like a kid. An NFL star nearly 2 meters tall and with a whole career of brutal hits behind him confessed it blew his mind. An Oscar winner taking photos in a locker room. An NBA champion unable to explain what he was seeing. A legendary singer discovering that his name traveled all the way to Rosario and ended up on the birth certificate of the best player on the planet. And you? Which of these moments moved you the most? Leave it in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and tell us what city you're watching from.